everybody. So I wanted to point this out. I was telling Arthur Scott Jr. about this the other day, and I thought it was incredible. Just to hear his point of view on what he sees in the night sky versus what I see. Now I'm up here in New York. I'm only an hour away from Lake Erie, little inwards towards I don't even know what the major city is around here. But I'm an hour away from Lake Erie in Erie, Pennsylvania, and I'm like an hour and a half away from Buffalo, right? And Niagara Falls is like 2 hours. So check this out. When I go out into the night sky, I can see the Big Dipper, no problem. It's there. I can make out other constellations in the sky. Like I said, the last few years I've been watching the Big Dipper. Oh, not the Big Dipper. I'm sorry, the Summer Triangle. This year, the Summer Triangle has been, I don't know, it's weird. It's just not the normal triangle that I've seen the last 2 years. This one's really stretched out, really, like the one star. I mean, it forms a triangle, but the one star that always makes it seem like a tight triangle is now like way off into the higher part of the sky at night. So it looks kind of like a cone, like those cones they used to put on your head, on the head of a person they put in the corner. But this article was really explained, answered some questions, because I wondered how did they travel from the south into the north, looking at this, the night sky without getting, lost. And I guess the biggest thing my mind just couldn't wrap around was if the whole out of Africa thing, could you see the Big Dipper in Africa, what I'm saying, and still know that you're using that to follow, when you came over here, that you still see the same skies? Because just a little bit of knowledge I do have about, star patterns and stuff like that is there are certain planets that we can't see here in North America, but they can be seen if you're over in the Middle East. I know when I was trying to find out if you could see Saturn, one of the websites I was reading, you have to actually go to the West Coast, out into California, Washington State, Oregon, and you can see, certain times of the year. I think it's towards the fall. You can see Saturn, Venus, and I think it's one other planet. I just can't think of it, but you can see. But you can see, it says you can't see it on the East Coast. So my mind's wondering, can you still see that same kind of, does it work as well in Africa versus being, here in North America? I hope I'm not confusing you. I'm still trying to put everything together, but that was basically what I was just wondering. Can you still see the same sky, the same constellations in Africa that you could in North America? Well, reading this website, it just points out it just simplifies a few things. If you're north of the equator, you're going to see what I've always been able to see is that Big Dipper when you go out into the night sky. And here's what I thought was crazy, because I didn't know about this, right? And I'm going to put this in the description box. You'll be able to read it. But if you go south, I believe it explained, it was somewhere in here. It actually tells you where you have to be. Yeah, hit right here. Check this. Oh, no, don't do that. Check this out. That you will end up seeing, instead of it being the equator, it's going to end up being a cross that you'll see in the night sky. And the same thing when you're in Australia, it explains. So I thought that was pretty freaking incredible. And then again, too, you got to remember this: if you're traveling at night and you're sleeping during the day, you have to have some type of knowledge of this land, or just you have to. You can be. How would you put it? You can be, illiterate. The way they kind of make it seem that you just came over on boats and crap like that. There's got to be some type of intelligence that you have to share, and have to been, had been taught from your elders, to know that if you're following that cross from the south into the northern hemisphere, that it's going to turn into, it's going to go from a broken cross to a dipper, the Big Dipper. Where is it here? So I'm gonna leave this in the description box. If you see holes in my theory, you know, just leave a comment, you know, so you point out where where I was wrong, you know. Just read this article though. I thought this is pretty cool. I think I didn't even know that the Big Dipper looks different like that, you know, being on different degrees. And just like I said, talking to Arthur, and you know, he was kind of amazed. He's like, "You can always see a Big Dipper?" I was like, "Yeah, I can see the Big Dipper almost every night I'm outside. It's not even hard to find." And he's like, "Well, we have I guess a different sky at night, you know." So, or just him being in Louisiana, it's just different, you know, being that far down versus up here. Anyways, I'm trying not to ramble anymore. I'll leave this in the description box. Check it out, everybody. Thank you.